Hi, I'm Cyaneink and today we have another quill review, and today I have used a silver Atelier Squirrel blend quill, and it is blend, so it has natural hair and synthetic hair, and natural hair is tapering, but I will show some close-up photos. You actually see there some of the hairs aren't tapering, and I suspect those are the synthetic hairs. Construction. Ferrula is black, so we cannot see inside. I personally don't like that much because I don't know how the glue is here, or are there the threads that are binding like this together, so I cannot see the construction. Also, the plastic here they use is really stiff, so I don't know how it works, but you can see here that these wires are quite tight. They are like bending the plastic, and they are... Oh, actually whole ferrula is rolling. Interesting. But the wires are neat. They are copper colored, 3 layers, and wrapped in neat line. Handle of the brush has this really interesting coloring. It's like black stained or something. I don't know. There's a little bit of thickening area here where you can hold it. Sizing is same as the round brushes, so this is size 10. There is the code for the line. There is silver, it's the maker. And then the name of the brush, and it's made in China. And then that horrendous barcode that is printed here. Why, I don't know. Please don't do that, it looks horrible. Especially it's like the highest contour of this whole brush is really like draws your attention, it like not going anywhere. And the brush head itself, it is quite soft, and hairs are a bit... I haven't used this brush so much. I have used in tree paintings like I do with all the quills, but you can see that there's like some stray hairs pointing out. And I noticed that when I was painting, this actually sheds. Like when I was painting, I noticed that the one hair was poking out of this brush, and I pulled it out. It couldn't be on my dogs because it was really coming out of the brush, and it was not white, or like it was not long enough to be from my dogs, so it was definitely from this brush, and it happened more than once. And you can see all the tiny bit of stray hairs that are like bending there. It's a bit weird. Usually brushes, they don't have that kind of like that hair, like whoop. So I'm worried. In this case, I'm more worried about the brush head quality than anything else. It also doesn't come to the point, sadly. You will see that I can, if I really, really try, I can make it to the point, but if I like touch it, it's not like returning to its shape. Especially when I do the line test, you will see that this brush point is like really not holding that well. It's more of the mop brush than a quill brush, even if it says it's quill. And now for the test. And we can see here that the brush head is actually really soft, and the hairs are moving quite a bit side to side when I shake the brush underneath the water. This is especially clear in the slowed down version. And here is the pointing test where this brush faded miserably. Like, I really tried to point it similar that I did in previous review, and it didn't from point. I wouldn't call the point because it was flat edge. And then I went to try it and rotate the brush while I wipe it, but it didn't help. And I also tried it different ways, but no, it wasn't pointing, and it's actually property of this brush and the hairs that it's not forming a point. It's more mop than a quill because it cannot point, and even if you can get it to the point, it cannot hold it. So for the stroke test, this time you are getting real-time commentary. And for the dots, this is not ideal because the brush tip is not sharp and it goes really flat when I push it against the paper. And for the lines, it's doing quite thick lines, even if I try to hold it really high up and only that what should be tip, but in this case is like more like rounded edge is touching the paper, and you will see that some points it's not touching because I'm holding it so gently, but it's definitely not a fine line, and it's definitely not a quill because I personally feel that quills should have a sharp point and they could be used for stuff like inking or even calligraphy. This no, especially when you see these squiggly lines, because here it makes those wider marks because brush hair is dragging behind. And the tip shape is going to like smoosh and going to flat. It's also really hard to control, and it also contributes how the marks look because it's so soft that even slightly change of your hand pressure changes the line width. So it's not so good. But here I'm doing the 90-degree test, so fine line, 90 degrees. Same here, fine line and 90 degrees. So you see that the it actually goes really flat when it touches the paper. It doesn't bounce back when it changes the direction because it's like the hair is just like too soft. And also it comes to the shape of the brush that probably how the hairs are cut is not forming a strong point either. Then for the round test I'm really scared because it's one of the hardest tests in here because I really need to be careful not to give any pressure at this brush because it will instantly give it wider lines. And for the small leaves, I'm starting with the low pressure and increasing the pressure. And what I want to see here is that I want to see marks getting wider and getting like good range of them. So first the fine pressure, then increasing it a bit. Because this is so soft, it's the points here come quite wide. But I feel there's not that much of the control because even slightly amount of pressure yields quite wide lines. Then a little bit more of this finer. And here I try to make like quick marks that have sharp edges. Almost like flicking the brush here. And since I have to go really, I cannot, because there's the point, I have hard time to get like sharp edges, and I have to like, I cannot press too hard because it will be too big mark here, so they are not that expressive. I would like to see here some of the sharper edges and more of like shape, like sharpness. And these are more like blobs, so they don't look like brush marks, they look like blobs. And then for the leaves, this is horrible leaf. Now I actually need to rotate the brush 90 degrees because how the brush is shaped by the previous stroke, which is again not ideal. Thing. It's a bit weird here because there's a little small area of the pressure here, which I need to control, and it really gives these angles here I don't like. I would like to ideally have the smooth edge, and it's what I'm trying to do. but brush is not cooperating. With this test, of course, it's a bit what are my brushing skills, but at the same time, because we are humans and we all have different skill levels, I think it's important that brush is like making our painting easier and not harder. And this is definitely brush that is making it all harder. Like, it's brush that is really hard to control because it's softness and its tip is so fragile and floppy. Now this twisting and trying to get it fine point. I'm really lifting the brush. Oh, I'll lift actually my hand. Yeah, it's like not good. There's not smooth, flowy things because it's like we are lacking the control here. I don't like the return shape here. When I lift the brush, I feel that some of the hairs return here. I suspect it's the synthetic that return, but natural hair is not returning to its point. Or it can be other way around, I don't know, but I feel that there's like some disparity here, like the brush's hairs are not behaving the same. So the 3 paintings I made was this bunny illustration, bunny cleaning windows, and it was absolutely nightmare with this brush. Like, because it couldn't make a point at all. So those, you can see there's lot of the areas where I got over because I couldn't get this tight spot because the brush is too big. And here also I couldn't get this here tight because brush has no point. It's like, it's a bit inaccurate. Same here. Green goes a little bit over because again, brush isn't making good points. So it's like hard to keep up the lines. So definitely not good use case for this brush. But it is something that a normal quill should be handling without issue. Because quills need to have the point. Also, I had hard time. I wanted to really fine lines here to imitate the wood, and that brush cannot do that. As you see in the stroke test, its fine lines are not possible with this brush. Then I tried a little bit looser painting. I wanted to do 1 piece of like leaves and then flowers. And here I ran another issue. This present doesn't hold that much water or color, so I was hoping that working as the mop brush, but no, like these leaves I had to make in multiple passes. Of course, this brush is small, but at the same time I felt like it's not performing as I would hope the mop brush performing. I had to load brush multiple times again because it just isn't holding enough water. And that comes from because it has synthetic hairs, and synthetic hairs are straight. And they don't hold that much water as the natural hair, which is a little bit wavy. Also this brush, even if you load it really good, and try to mop it a little bit, it doesn't swallow, it doesn't have that good of the belly. It gets a little bit thicker here, but not much. And also if you want to get the point, you need to dry the brush quite a bit and roll it around the towel to make it even point. And that takes out even more water. So sadly it doesn't work as mop either because it doesn't have water holding capacity. Then the third painting I was painting, I took this reference picture when I was traveling, and I went to paint the church. There was really those beautiful little details here, but with this brush, without it having the point, it was impossible to do. Like, I could make this one line here, but that was all I could, like, finest I could do. Especially if I needed to do more of those lines. Nope. Or curving lines. If anything that curves this brush, like, because it's so soft, it's like bends a little bit, so it cannot make that much of the fine lines. So I struggled a lot with this church. Especially with this roof area and this dark area where I wanted to get all the little details and I couldn't get those done. Same was with the sky. I could just barely wet this whole area and do the sky because the brush wasn't holding that much of the water. And since this is made by silver, I think it's fair to compare to silver black velvet, which is like, I think, silver most popular line. But here is the big difference in these brushes. Like, silver black velvet points really nicely, and if I can show the comparison, like how this one snaps compared to silver black velvet. There's much more snap. There's like, I can feel that it's like, wants to go back to the point. This one, not so much. So there's quite big difference. Even if they both are blended quills, even if they both come from the same maker, there's really big difference in the quality of the brush. Like this one is, I'm worried how it will be holding because I don't like my brush that shed a hair. Like, it's not acceptable. Even if you have a new brush, it shouldn't shed one single hair. And also the hairs that are like pointing on the sides when it dry are a bit worrisome. So definitely not like same quality as the silver black velvet, and I think it's because it's made in China. I think it will be close to the other brushes that are made in China. And here we have the silver brush against the Art Secret brush, which I got from AliExpress. And it's cost like, I think, half what the silver version cost, but they are surprisingly similar. There's similar shade of the color. There's similar plastic on the ferrule, and they are like looking really similar. And it's no surprise because it's made in China. It is probably made for other makers as well. And the size 2 is a little bit bigger than the 10. But hair qualities, they are really close. But yeah, this might be made in same place, and other one is just marked up as silver, and other one is as Art Secret. Other one cost like a fraction of this silver Atelier Squirrel. It is also quite expensive, especially it comes to expensive because the size. This is size 10, which is, it's like round brush sizing. And usually when you are talking about quill sizing, here I have size 11 in quill sizing. So quill sizing is usually much larger. So having the when they use round brush sizing, even if they have like some, it may sound big size, but it's actually small because they are using still the round brush sizing, and that's a bit, I would say, shady. It's a bit problematic because even if you are thinking you are buying big quill, always check the measurements. They give quite accurate measurement on their website, so you know which size of the quill you are getting, because the numbering here cannot be trusted. My final verdict for this brush is that it's not so good. I don't recommend getting it, especially if you are looking something that is close to silver black velvet. No, this brush isn't close to that, and also it doesn't hold point, which is really big minus in the quills. And it doesn't work as the mop either, and it's also expensive for a size because they are using smaller sizing, and also because it's made in China and you can get same brush cheaper. So yeah, that was a little bit disappointing, but hope this was helpful, and I really hope that it's like gives you enough information to like know is this brush for you. I doubt that this is like brush for anybody, and I had really hard time to find positives of this brush, but that is how sometimes reviews go. So thanks for watching, and I will be bringing up your new review next week. Bye!